House prices. What the hell is going on? Like me, you've probably read tons of frenzied headlines recently saying that the housing market is going to crash. So is the housing market in meltdown? Well, not really, but it's not in good shape either. So what is going on? Let's dig into the statistics and what they actually mean for you. To understand what's going on, we've got to go back to when the inflation crisis began in 2021. Then Liz Truss came along and nearly crashed the economy and the mortgage market with her disastrous mini budget. Many homeowners are still finding that their mortgages are more expensive than they were, in part because of the mini budget, but also because the Bank of England have been putting their interest rate up. This has had an impact on house prices. Why is that? Well, in some parts of the country, like London and the southeast, house prices are gently falling. But overall, according to the Office for National Statistics, house prices were actually up in January. They had not fallen, as lots of economists predicted that they would. How can that be possible? Well, it depends on where you live, but what seems to have propped the housing market up when lots of people, including the OBR, that's the Office for Budget Responsibility, predicted that there would be a fall, is a surge in first-time buyers at the end of last year. Now, there's something to note about that as well. Those first-time buyers are taking out long mortgages. So to meet house prices, which though they are gently falling, are still really high, they're having to take on loads of debt for 45 years. And the main thing to pay attention to here is house price inflation, the rate at which house prices go up. This means that the market has cooled down. New data has been released by Nationwide, they're a mortgage lender, saying that house prices have fallen 3.1% between March this year and last year. That is their largest fall year on year since 2009. Is that a big deal? In the 80s and 90s, house prices dropped 20%. And in the immediate aftermath of the global financial crash in 2009, they fell 15%. So they're not falling as much as they did back then, but this is still a significant drop, and here's why. The big one is that house prices are higher now than they were in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s compared to people's wages. This means that if interest rates go up and the cost of having a mortgage gets more expensive, people can run into trouble and find it harder to repay their debt. On top of that, because house prices are so high, people who bought at the top of the market in recent years may find themselves in negative equity. That's where their home is worth less than they paid for it. That might sound really scary, and it can be, but I want to stress that things are still way better than housing market experts and economists thought they would be when Liz Truss was Prime Minister, but that doesn't mean it's all plain sailing. If forecasts from the Office for Budget Responsibility are to be believed, a 10% fall in house prices is still on the cards. If you're watching this thinking, well, all of this sounds completely contradictory, that's because it is. All we have right now really is uncertainty. So here's what I think is really important to bear in mind. Buying a home is the biggest purchase most people will make in their entire lives. We now have an opportunity to question this boom and bust volatility in the housing market. Beware anyone who tells you that housing is still a safe bet. But equally, beware anyone who tells you that everything is going to come falling down and crashing around us too.